Sometimes you just walk around and you see some entrepreneurs, some owner operators, they're having a fantastic time running their courier business, and you have others who are just struggling, right? So in today's conversation, I want to share with you the best way to start a courier business this year, not last year, not next year, this year. And I want to give you all the tips and tricks that we have learned in the last 25 years in advising business clients in this industry, so that you too can start your business and start making bank real fast. Okay. So here are the steps I really want you to follow. If you want to start a courier business, you first want to find your niche. Boss, I don't care how how populated your neighborhood is, or your city or county or whatever. You got to find your niche. It doesn't matter whether you are in New York, you are in LA, you are in Chicago, you are in Austin, Texas. You really got to find your niche. And when we talk about niche, it's not about just finding the positioning that you want to put for your courier business. You got to think about the kind of loads you want to haul, right? You got to think about geography. When we talk about niche, we're thinking about three things: geography, demographics or firmographics, and the third thing is you got to think about the type of load you want to haul. Let me repeat that: geography, demographics / firmographics, and the kind of load you want to haul. Let me break it down for you. So when we talk about geography, that's pretty clear, right? So you can say, you know what, I want to cover the tri-state area. So if you are in New York, you can say, you know what, I want to cover New Jersey, and I want to cover Connecticut. So that's for my courier business. Or you can say, I'm just, my ass ain't going to ain't going to Connecticut because I don't, whatever reason, I want to stay in New York, or I want to stay in Jersey, or I want to cover only Northern Jersey. So you got to really restrict yourself geographically. That's the geographic niche that I'm talking about. That's number one. Then you have to think about think about demographics and firmographics. What does that mean? Demographics is pretty clear. So you got to say, listen, if I want to do B2C, let's say I want to do a courier business for individuals. So I'm going to focus on individuals in a certain area. Like, you can say young adults or students or what have you. And firmographics mean you are doing B2B. You're thinking about the firms that you want to haul for. And the third element is you want to really pay attention to the kind of loads you want to haul. Very important. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here to have a quick convo with you about how to start a courier business this year. So the first thing is you want to find your niche. And the second thing is, please do not spend money. Sometimes you hear people trying to razzle dazzle you. You go to happy hours, people talk about, if you want to start a courier business, you need to spend on this, on that, on this, on that. No. Resist the urge to spend money when you are starting up. Boss, do you want to do research first? See, you got to spend a lot of time doing research and less time spending money. What do I mean by that? First of all, let me tell you something. You need to know the loads you want to haul, because when we talk about courier business, and again, a courier business, I'm not just talking about you delivering you dropping packages, downtown or what. No. I'm talking about you doing serious hauling. You can do a lightweight courier business, or you can do heavyweight courier business. And in other words, you can use a cargo van, you can use a box truck, you can use a sprinter van, you can use anything to actually deliver whatever loads you need to deliver, right? When we talk about the type of loads you want to haul, you got to think about, do you want to serve maybe lawyers, for example? Do you want to do OTRs? Do you want to go out of state? Okay. Do you want to, for example, work in the wee hours of the day? Do you want to go back home every day? Because see, when we talk about courier business, don't just have the idea of working from 8 to 5 or from 9 to 9, whatever. No. Sometimes you might have to go out of state. You might have to do OTR, depending on the niche you're in. See, I want to go back to that. Okay. So don't spend money on things like doing, advertisement, or sort of the only money you have to spend is to form your business, is to do your LLC or your S corporation or C corporation, file the paperwork with the state. It costs about $50. It's not a lot of cash here, but you got to take care of that. Okay. And if you need some business licenses and permits, you got to get those too. But the bottom line here is that you really need to make sure you do not spend money on unnecessary things like rent, utilities, and the overhead of a separate office. No, start from home, boss. Start from home. Who is chasing you out of the house? Who's chasing your ass out of the house? So start from home, from your basement, from your backyard. I don't care, but you gotta limit your expenses when you start. By the way, boss, I'm going to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm talking to you about how to start a courier business and make money from day one, okay? Third, you want to pay attention to your legal structure. Choose your LLC, choose your S corporation, choose your C corporation, choose your ALP, whatever it is. Please incorporate. Or you can choose. You can say, you know what? I just love it to be a single member, to be a sole proprietor, but I really wouldn't recommend that. Choose you want to choose a legal business structure. The fourth thing I want you to do here is to find customers. See, the thing is, when we talk about starting a courier business and actually make money from day one, finding customers means what? This is what I told you earlier. I said you want to spend more time doing research and less time actually paying for stuff, right? So you want to basically find a niche. So see, when we talk about finding customers, it becomes a lot easier if you are in a niche. Sometimes we hear a lot of comments on our YouTube videos. People talk about rates are going down. I'm going to load bars. I can't believe it. I went to truckstop.com. I went to dot, and everybody's thinking, I can't believe that my ass is wasting time here, and I can't find loads. Blah 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 blah. You know why? You know why? It's because those players, those brothers and sisters, they're not really willing to make the extra effort to choose a niche. If you ain't choosing a niche, you are going to swim in the same sea that everybody's swimming in, which means that you are going to find it difficult to swim in the first place. That's the thing. I don't know if you ever do like sometimes you watch on TV. You have those swim competitions where you have 1,000 people actually jumping in the water at the same time, and they're trying to swim at the same time. That's crazy, because you hear people actually kicking your butt, whatever, kicking your ear, whatever. You are swimming in a sea where you have a lot of sharks. You are going to find it complicated. What I'm giving you here is the alternative option. I'm telling you to find a niche, and you find a niche where you are like you're only 2 or 3 or 4 folks who are eating the pie, so that you don't have a lot of folks. You're not swimming in a sea that is competitive. Okay, so finding customers becomes a lot easier if you are having a niche. If you have questions about that specific aspect, let us know in the comment section, and we'll just explain further. Because when we talk about niche, you got to mention the geography you are hauling from, or you want to haul from, so that we can tell you the best niche that is available in your geography, in your state, county, or city. And you got to think also about referrals. If you want to start a successful courier business, think about referrals. Okay, think about your core customers, and when you start, your core potential customers are your friends and family members. Yeah. You want to speak around, tell people, listen, I just opened my courier business, and I will gladly appreciate it if you guys can refer a business my way. Yeah, be polite. You don't have to like put people like you don't have to say like in your face sort of. No, be polite, but be firm also. And this is quintessential. And I'm going to spend some time on this because a lot of y'all just got it wrong here. We're going to talk about setting your rates. So how do you monetize your courier business? And when we talk about setting your rates, we actually have, based on our research, and again, I'm talking to you about 25 years to 30 years of experience here in this industry. When we talk about setting your rates, you have to think about 4 different elements: the RPM, the RPL, the RPC, and the RPH. Let me break it down for you. So you have 4 options to actually monetize your services. You can say, you know what, I'm going to do RPM. So rate per mile. I'm going to charge my shippers on a rate per mile basis. Or I'm going to do RPL, so rate per load. So you basically, people call you, like they say, listen, can you hold this for us? Can you drop this for us? And you charge based on the load. Or you can say, rate per hour, RPH. So I'm going to charge, let's say 25 or 30, or in this economy, boss, you really better raise your rate, like $50 per hour, whatever. Because remember, you have to actually feed a family. Okay, you have family to feed. You actually have to take care of overhead, all that kind of stuff. So you really need to think about RPH in the terms of, hey, listen, how can I really set my price so I can really eke out a good profit? Think about those things, boss. The fourth element that you need to think about is what did I? Okay, I mentioned RPM, RPL, and RPC. So now the fourth is RPC. So RPC is rate per contract. So rate per contract means that you can say, you know what, I'm charging based on the contract. I'm not going to bother you for like rate per mile, rate per hour, whatever. No. I'm just charging rate on the rate per contract. So the 4 elements I want you to think about when actually setting your rates are RPC, RPM, RPL, or RPH. A good rule of thumb is to remember to always add 30 to 35% profit margin so that you are able to survive in the industry. Boss, don't be a charity. You're not starting a courier business to be a charity, are you? Like it's kind of funny. People say, well, if I charge more, I might not have customers. You are getting it wrong. You are getting it wrong. Don't engage in a war to the bottom, because in a price war to the bottom, you're not going to survive. Your ass will be out of this industry even before you get started. Okay. So the whole thing is what you want to do is you want to think about adding value, and think about adding value, and then you charge for the price, because you have a business to run, and you deserve to be compensated for your work, boss. Okay. Don't sell yourself short. Do not sell yourself short. Next thing I want you to do here is to provide exceptional service. The thing is, you can say, I'm charging like a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. But if you're not adding value, you're just wasting your time and your customers' time. So if you want to start a courier business and make money from day one, provide exceptional service. When we talk about exceptional service, I'm saying, listen, if you say, I'm going to show up at 9 o'clock, show up at 9 o'clock. Don't bring your ass at 9:15. Don't bring your ass at 9:30. Don't bring your ass at 9:45. Punctuality is really important in this industry. Courier business, again, it doesn't matter whether you're driving a regular car, or you're driving a Sprinter van, you're driving a cargo van, you're driving a box truck, you're driving a strict truck, you're driving a pickup truck, whatever it is, make sure you are punctual. Make sure you are providing exceptional service. Make sure you are communicating. You got to communicate. You want to notify your customers, hey, listen, order picked up, order dropped. Load picked up, load dropped. Package picked up, package dropped, or package in transit. Communicate. Let your customers know. I don't have time to actually to go in detail in terms of the software you can use, the apps you can use to notify your customers. But if you needed more information, just let me know. Our team will actually get you the data that you need. But this is really important to really think about things that way. Okay. And keep track of your customers. So do the same, like for delivery. Like if you are, let's say, delivering something again, and the customers is waiting for information, make them know. But also you want to know what kind of customers you have, the geography of your customers, how many customers you have, so that you can actually, increase your sales over time. There's something called cross-selling. So you can sell multiple delivery services for your existing clients, or you can ask your client to actually refer new clients to you. And you can only do this if you're keeping track of your clients, if you know their needs, if you know their passions, if you know their business model, if you know how they roll, you can actually use them to your advantage. Not use them, but you really, actually leverage them to your advantage, because you're providing value. See, when you're providing value, you can ask for value also. This is how this karmic law sort of works. Okay. The next thing I want you to do here is to really pay attention to tracking your expenses. Oh yeah. See, the thing is, when you are starting a courier business, if you remember, I was just telling you not to spend money, right? But there are some expenses you're going to have to spend on. I mean, there are some expenses you're going to have to incur. I mean, everything about incorporating fees. You're going to have to open a bank account. I mean, there are no fees in that, but you're going to have the proper licenses and permits. You're going to have to get a van, or you're going to have a car. I mean, whatever vehicle you have, you're going to need it for your courier business. And it's not about just sitting around and say, listen, yeah, there are too many expenses, I ain't started. No way, Jose. Don't be a lazy ass. All right. I mean, even if it is it could be complicated sometimes at the beginning. You are going to succeed. You are going to win, son. You are going to win, daughter. You are going to win, uncle. You are going to win, aunt. You are going to win, grandpa, grandma. You are going to win. As long as you do not drop the ball, as long as you have the proper accounting software, or for example, you have if you think that you don't have $15 or $20 to pay for QuickBooks Online, for example, or Wave or Xero or FreshBooks, you can say, you know what, I'm going to use an app. There are a lot of free apps that allow you to actually track your courier business expenses, at least at the beginning, so you know exactly what you're spending your money on. Because the last thing you want is to actually, spend too much money, and then the business doesn't pick up, and then you run out of cash, and before you know it, you just filing for bankruptcy. No, don't do this. You want to proceed gradually. You want to pay attention to things like think about your expenses in terms of gas, for example, office supplies, and you need to keep track of those expenses, not just for your financial accounting and reporting purposes, but also for your tax compliance purposes. Because at the end of the year, if you are going to write off certain expenses, but you better have a proper documentation, because the last thing you want is to have the IRS audit your courier business, your new courier business, and find irregularities. And you know what that means, right? You know what the irregularities means, the fines, means penalties, and you don't want to be don't want to be in the IRS's crosshairs at all. No, definitely not. You have a business to run. Just focus on running that business as opposed to dealing with the federal government. Okay. And the last thing I want you to do here is to promote your courier business. So if you start a courier business, you got to promote it. You got to promote it because nobody knows your ass. Nobody knows you. People may have heard of you having a business. Like when you go to happy hours, when you go to family reunions, when you're having a barbecue in the backyard, you got invited to a barbecue party, and or you have a Super Bowl. You have those sort of social events where you will basically have to talk about your business. Hey, listen, I just started a courier business. Again, don't just talk though. You got to walk the walk. Okay. So you need to have a business plan that actually shows your name, first and last name, that shows that you want to choose a very professional business plan, and actually has all the info that people need to have to actually hire your courier business if need be. So put your first name, last name, put your address, put everything that can help people actually trace you. And one thing I also want to say here is that when we talk about promoting your courier business, you have a lot of ways of doing so. And here are our favorite ways. You can use social media marketing. So basically you can create, like on Facebook, for instance, you can create a Facebook group. You can have a Facebook page for your budding business. You can actually, for example, you can engage, like the thing is, you can engage in conversations that revolve around the topic of your choice. You can also use email marketing if you have an existing list. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do though. So you have to think about an alternative strategy here. You got to think about networking. You got to think about launching you can try to launch an app. We have seen some business clients who actually are well-funded they're well-funded enough to launch an app, especially if you're doing like a mobile fuel delivery, for example, which is a topic we covered last week. So if you're doing a mobile fuel delivery, having an app is really important. You can also get clients through your websites, through Google AdWords. So you have the SEM, search engine marketing, through referrals, through, like if you have, for example, through courier exchange services also. This is also a great opportunity to actually meet new people. You can join local business groups, or you can join like the Chamber of Commerce. And yeah, so you have a lot of things. You can even use brochures and flyers to actually promote your courier business. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly talking to you about how to start a courier business and make money from day one. So I gave you the steps, and I did the recap now. So thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.